There is a $10 million story sitting in Justin Baldoni's head, and for the first time in 17 months, nobody can stop him from telling it. I want you to picture something for a second. You spend $60 million fighting a legal battle, 17 months of your life consumed by depositions, court filings, leaked texts, media coverage, and a federal trial looming over every single morning you wake up. You had the New York Times on your side. You had Ryan Reynolds. You had Taylor Swift. You had the biggest entertainment lawyers in the country. And at the end of it all, when the dust settles and the judge closes the file, the man you were fighting walks out of that courthouse, free to say everything, with no NDA, no legal restrictions, no gag order, and offers on the table worth up to $10 million to tell the world his version of what happened. That is exactly where Blake Lively finds herself right now. And that is exactly what Justin Baldoni is about to do. So today, let's talk about what this tell-all is actually going to look like, what it's going to say, why Blake cannot stop it, and why when it finally drops, it is going to rewrite the entire story you think you know. Before we get into the tell-all, I want to spend a minute on Justin Baldoni himself, because I think the way this case was covered for 17 months gave a lot of people a very specific picture of who he is, and that picture is incomplete. Justin Baldoni is not just an actor. He directed It Ends With Us. He produced it. He starred in it. He co-founded Wayfarer Studios, the production company that brought the whole project to life. He is a self-described neurodivergent man who has spoken publicly about his struggles with anxiety. During the peak of the legal battle, when the lawsuits were flying and the media coverage was relentless, he went almost completely silent on social media. No defensive statements, no leaked messages in his favor, no tearful press tour, just quiet. And when he did eventually resurface publicly, it was a Mother's Day post about his wife Emily and his mother Sharon. No lawyers, no legal strategy, just a family photo and a message about love. While that was happening, his attorney Brian Friedman was doing all the fighting publicly, launching counter-evidence websites, going on podcasts, filing motions, getting sanctioned, doing it anyway. But Baldoni himself stayed back, stayed calm, stayed quiet, because he was waiting. And Friedman confirmed exactly what he was waiting for, the day the legal restrictions were gone and he could finally speak entirely on his own terms. That day has arrived. Here is the thing about Justin Baldoni's silence that most people misread. Everyone assumed it was a weakness. The internet read his absence as guilt, his quiet as someone hiding, his lack of public defense as an admission of something. But his attorney spelled out the truth on a podcast the day after the settlement was announced. He said, going into these settlement discussions, there were lines in the sand that Justin always had. He always wanted to be able, at some point, to speak, not through lawyers, not through legal filings, not through a crisis PR team managing a carefully worded statement, to speak fully, completely, his version, his words. And that meant one thing, no NDA. Now here is what makes that remarkable. NDA clauses are standard in virtually every high-profile Hollywood settlement. They are the default, the expected, the thing that closes the chapter for everyone and ensures nobody has to hear the other side of the story ever again. Blake Lively's team allegedly pushed hard for one. She wanted Justin Baldoni to stay silent forever. She didn't get it. And the moment that settlement was signed without an NDA, something shifted completely. Because now it wasn't just about what happened on a movie set. It was about who gets to tell that story. And for the first time in 17 months, that person is Justin Baldoni. Let's talk about money, because this is where it gets genuinely extraordinary. Sources cited by In Touch Weekly and confirmed by industry insiders say Baldoni is already being actively courted for multiple projects. Major television networks want the interview. Streaming platforms are circling a potential docuseries. Publishers are reportedly interested in a full memoir. And the number that keeps coming up from sources close to the situation, somewhere between $8 and $10 million. For context, Prince Harry received a reported $27 million for his memoir about the British royal family. Justin Baldoni's story, one of the most watched celebrity legal battles in years, with a federal judge's ruling behind it, is being valued in that same stratosphere. But here is what makes Baldoni's story worth more than money. It comes with receipts, not alleged receipts, not rumors, not... A federal judge, Judge Lewis Lyman of the Southern District of New York, reviewed every piece of evidence in this case, every text message, every deposition, every claim, and he threw out 10 of Blake Lively's 13 claims, 10 out of 13. Sexual harassment, dismissed. Defamation, dismissed. Conspiracy, dismissed. These were not thrown out on technicalities. The judge went through each incident individually and found that several of them would not support a hostile work environment claim at all, or would do so only minimally when placed in full context. That is not a footnote in Justin Baldoni's memoir. That is his entire opening argument, and nobody can touch it. While Baldoni is fielding $10 million offers, let's look at what is actually happening on the other side of this story. Because the picture being painted in multiple media reports right now is one of a very different kind of aftermath. Blake Lively's legal fees are reported at approximately $60 million. The settlement produced $0 in return. The judge denied her request to submit additional briefs before ruling on whether she can recover attorney's fees. One prominent defense attorney, Mark Garagos, told national television that the judge's behavior raises serious questions about whether Blake's own lawyers may have misled her into settling, her own lawyers. And then there is the fashion world. Multiple reports state that several major fashion houses refused to dress Blake Lively for the Met Gala following the settlement. One source put it plainly, this wasn't about designers being afraid of looking mean. It was about not wanting to look like they were backing a mean girl. Blake's brand has collapsed in certain fashion circles. Those are not my words. That is what industry insiders are saying on record to journalists. And then there are the marriage reports. A source told the Daily Mail that Blake and Ryan Reynolds are not as playful as they used to be, almost as if a light has dimmed. And reports have now emerged that the couple is reportedly considering leaving the United States entirely. An insider described their home in Europe as a perfect asylum from the endless noise. Blake and Ryan are desperate for a fresh start away from all the stress and misery that has taken over their lives. That was the quote. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is not fleeing anywhere. He is taking meetings. He is talking to publishers. He is sitting down with networks. And he is waiting for exactly the right moment to say everything. Here is the part of this story I do not think enough people are thinking about. Justin Baldoni's tell-all is not just going to be a celebrity interview. It is going to be a narrative reset. For 17 months, this story had one dominant version. Blake filed first. The New York Times dropped the article at the same moment. The framing was set before Baldoni's team could respond. The cultural moment, a woman speaking out against a powerful director in Hollywood, was established in the first 48 hours and almost never meaningfully challenged in mainstream media. Baldoni's legal team fought back, but courtroom filings are not primetime television. A sit-down interview is, a memoir is, a docuseries is. When Baldoni finally sits down, whether it is with a major network anchor or a streaming platform, he does not respond to her version of events. He presents his, from the beginning. Every conversation that was reframed in those court documents, he gets to give context. Every scene that was rewritten, he gets to talk about what actually happened. Every text message that was leaked, he gets to explain what surrounded it. The press tour that went sideways, the film he directed, produced, and starred in, the 17 months that followed, all of it on his terms, with no legal clock running, with no opposing counsel ready to object. And the journalist who broke the exclusive that he is actively writing a book said it as plainly as it can be said. He is ready to tell the world exactly what happened. One more thing. That same journalist, a Daily Mail reporter with 30 years in this industry, described the entire arc of Blake Lively's legal strategy with one sentence. She called it the dumbest act of self-sabotage she had seen in 30 years in showbiz. 30 years. So here is where this story actually stands right now. Justin Baldoni is free. No NDA, no restrictions. A federal judge's ruling behind him. $10 million waiting on the table. And by every account from people close to him, he is champing at the bit. The woman who spent $60 million and 17 months trying to control this narrative is reportedly considering leaving the country. A light has dimmed, and the man she tried to silence is about to have the loudest moment of this entire story. When that interview drops, when that book lands, when Justin Baldoni finally sits down and says everything, this story is going to look completely different than it does right now. Make sure you are here when it happens. End card on screen. When Baldoni finally gives that interview, what do you think he's going to say? Drop it in the comments.